Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video on the Gooners and Gloves Podcast channel. In today's video, it's going to be the 103rd Gooners and Gloves Podcast, and I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts and reactions to Arsenal's game versus Athletic Club. This is the final friendly of the pre-season. Now the real season begins next week at Old Trafford, but this was the way that we rounded off our pre-season, of course, with the annual Emirates Cup game, and we did manage to win the Emirates Cup and the penalty shootout, and we won 3-0, so it was a really good day at the Emirates Stadium. Loads to talk about. Just really happy that we got to see our first choice 11. We got to see obviously a strong team, and not only that, but a very good performance. I was very impressed. I was very happy with the performance, especially following on from what was obviously a really poor performance against Villarreal. So very happy that we managed to turn it around today and end off our preseason in style with a really good performance and a penalty shootout and a penalty shootout win as the cherry on the cake. So yeah, really pleased with the performance today against Athletic Club. So yeah, pretty much let's get into it. Arsenal win the Emirates Cup and lift it for a fourth consecutive year, which is nice. So anyway, let's go and get straight into the game. So Arsenal were able to win 3-0. So of course, the first thing to talk about, let's talk about obviously, the elephant in the room, the obvious thing. Victor Gyökeres scores his first goal for Arsenal, and what an amazing moment this was. Absolute peach of a delivery from Martin Zubimendi, and we'll definitely be talking about Martin Zubimendi because he was absolutely world class today. But a fantastic cross from Martin Zubimendi, and then Gyökeres with a brilliant header. And honestly, the fact that his first goal is a header is so great. Like, that's literally so poetic, and I'm so happy that his first goal was a header, because obviously all people have done is said that he's terrible at headers, he can't score headers, all of that, and in spite of that, he scored an absolute beauty of a header. Seriously, directed this brilliantly, beats Unai Simon, a really good delivery from Martin Zubimendi, world class cross, and then Gyökeres meets it beautifully and hits it. Not only that, but of course, as we know, he should have actually scored another header, however, which drew a really good save from Unai Simon later in the game, which hit the post. So yeah, it drew a really nice save from Simon, hit the post, so it could have been two headed goals from a guy who supposedly can't score headers. So that's obviously very good. But aside from that, I was just really happy with Gyökeres today. I think he had a really good 70 minutes. He looked lively, got himself into good positions, created some opportunities for the likes of Saka and Calafiori. Not only that, but he himself obviously could have scored even more. So I was really happy with Gyökeres' performance today, and he was just the obvious first person to talk about. So yeah, really encouraging stuff from Gyökeres. A really good 70 minutes in the belt. A really good performance. Got the goal. Could have had even more, and even could have had an assist as well today, obviously with the Calafiori chance that he hit over the crossbar. So really happy with Gyökeres today, and it all came from an absolutely gorgeous delivery from Martin Zubimendi. Receives it, and then Martin Zubimendi pings this into the box, and Victor Gyökeres, amazing instinct, heads it, beats Unai Simon, and a fantastic moment at the Emirates Stadium. Obviously, everyone went crazy. It's the moment that all Arsenal fans have been dreaming of, have been waiting for. So obviously, to see Victor Gyökeres get his first goal is absolutely brilliant. Obviously, did the Bane celebration, which was great to see, and yeah, great moment, huge adrenaline rush for Arsenal. Obviously, a big boost to the team, and yeah, it was a huge boost because only about a minute or two later, we scored again. Bukayo Saka. So it was a really good ball, which was received by Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli squares it across to Saka, and Saka with an easy finish. Obviously a great finish, and lovely to see Bukayo Saka scoring, because obviously, he's obviously in this preseason been recovering from his injury, so it's lovely that he was able to get the goal and score again in preseason. Really good finish, and of course, nice work from Martinelli to square it across. So that was obviously just a huge adrenaline filled moment in the game. Obviously Victor Gyökeres scoring his first goal, and then only 2 minutes later, Bukayo Saka scoring as well. So yeah, that was obviously a great moment. Really happy to see Bukayo Saka scoring, obviously, as always, and he would go on to get an assist later in the game, which we'll talk about. But yeah, buzzing for Victor Gyökeres to get his first goal. That was absolutely fantastic. So let's quickly talk about Martin Zubimendi. Martin Zubimendi today was absolutely world class. Seriously, what a performance. Seriously, this is a gem. We have a serious gem on our hands here. Martin Zubimendi is world class. Seriously, what a performance today. The tackles, the passing, everything was just fantastic. The interceptions, and of course the chance creation. As mentioned before, he did obviously square it beautifully to Victor Gyökeres. Not only that, but he created other opportunities in the box as well. Even had a couple of times where he probably could have shot himself. So, he has that perfect balance of attack and also defense. And the double pivot that he played today with Declan Rice was sensational. Of course, we knew as soon as I even said this as soon as Zubimendi got the here we go all the way back in May. I said that the double pivot with Rice is going to be absolutely excellent, and that's exactly what happened. The double pivot with Rice was brilliant today, so that's a real dangerous double pivot and one of the best in world football. But yeah, I had to talk about Martin Zubimendi because he was unreal today. Seriously, one of the best players on the pitch. Absolutely fantastic performance from him. Another thing is, obviously, it was great to see our first choice midfield for the first time, right? Or sorry, not the first time, but the first start. Obviously, it's the first time they've started as a three. Obviously, those being Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, and Martin Zubimendi. and I think they all played really well. I think it was a really good defense, just, you know, bombing up and down, making chances happen, defending when needed, just looked really, really good. So, yeah, that was the first half. Goals from Victor Gyökeres and Bukayo Saka, and of course the assists from Zubimendi and Martinelli. A really, really good first half. To be fair, Bilbao did have a couple of chances themselves, but thankfully we weren't able to stop them from scoring, but definitely they had a couple of opportunities themselves. But Arsenal were able to go the full first half without conceding, and of course would go on to keep the clean sheet, which is nice. It's nice to get a clean sheet as well. Obviously, another thing to talk about is that both Gabriel and Jurrien Timber started their first games back, which is so good. Really nice to finally see them starting again. Obviously, Gabriel had his injury all the way back in, I think, April or so, March or April, and obviously we know how influential he is. And then, of course, Jurrien Timber, who's had his own injury struggles. So it was really good to see them both starting. You know, as expected, neither of them finished the full 90. They were both given around 65 minutes. But either way, really, really happy to see them back. And to be fair, I think they both had good games. Timber was obviously looking good, creating opportunities as always, just bombing up and down the flanks, just a really, really good, aggressive defender. And then, of course, Gabriel, who we all already know is unreal. And yeah, that concluded the first half. So all in all, an eventful first half. Goals from Gyökeres and Saka, Zubimendi and Martinelli with assists. And other than that, good opportunities, good play, and ultimately just controlling the game. So we come on for the second half, and the two changes that were made at halftime were Ben White for Calafiori and then also Noni Madueke for Gabriel Martinelli. And to be fair, Noni Madueke, that's someone else I need to talk about. I think he looked good today, straight up. Obviously only got the second half, but I think he looked good. He was doing really well down that left flank. He was creating chances. The pings were good. Obviously the crosses weren't fully consistent, so it's probably something that he needs to work on a bit. The crosses weren't always at a consistent height, and sometimes they weren't getting past the defenders. But to be fair, I think Noni Madueke had a good game today. Really just real good composure down that left hand side, making things happen, very creative. And that's the thing, Noni Madueke just looked so creative today, and I was really happy with the way he played. Created several good chances which were unfortunately missed, but I think his creativity was there. I think he was looking really lively down that left hand side, and ultimately he was just making things happen. You know, he was really creative, making things happen, etc. So it was really good to see, and obviously it's nice that we've got that left wing depth with both Noni Madueke and of course Gabriel Martinelli. So it was really good to see from Noni Madueke, and honestly I think he looked good. I think he looked good down that left hand side. I think he was making things happen, he was creating stuff, and ultimately just looked really lively. Also contributed to the defense. So Noni Madueke, I was quite pleased with his half, and obviously he went on to score his penalty as well, which was a nice moment, which we'll get to soon. But yeah, so those were the two changes at halftime. Ben White and also Noni Madueke came on, and obviously we kind of just carried on from there. Naturally, the tempo kind of slowed down a little bit, which is to be expected. Obviously, when you're 2-0 up, ultimately the tempo started slowing down a bit. We also saw some more changes. We had Mikel Merino who came on, and also Ethan Nwaneri, and then of course Mosquera as well. Christian Mosquera, I thought he looked solid. As expected, Gabriel didn't get the full 90, and Christian Mosquera filled in for him, but listen, I think he did well. Mosquera, I think, is an absolute gem and will continue to develop into a phenomenal centre-back, but I think he definitely played well today. Obviously, you also had your usual good players, Rice and Saliba, you know, people like that, but I'm kind of just trying to focus on the people who, like, really smashed it today. But yeah, so those were the substitutions, and then, of course, eventually, Victor Gyökeres did come off to a standing ovation, which was really nice to see. All in all, Victor Gyökeres got 70 minutes, and I think he looked good. He obviously scored the goal. He could have had even more. He created chances, and he just looked really good. His positioning was great, created really good opportunities as well. That's the thing with Gyökeres. He was also creative today as well. You know, gave some really good passes to the likes of Saka and Rice, and of course created a very good chance for Calafiori, which he hit over the crossbar. So aside from the goal and the fact that he himself had shots on target, he was also making things happen. He was getting into good positions. So all in all, a very promising 70 minutes from Victor Gyökeres, and I was very happy with it. And of course, it was Kai Havertz who came on. So this does make me wonder, will Victor Gyökeres start against will Victor Gyökeres start at Old Trafford? I think the chances are definitely there. He played 70 minutes today. He looked good. He scored. So could very well be seeing him start at Old Trafford. But of course, for the final 20 minutes, we did see Kai Havertz coming on. And to be fair, what a finish from Kai Havertz. This was a beauty. So let's get on to the third goal. So Bukayo Saka gets a ball really nicely to Kai Havertz despite the pressure. And then Kai Havertz does really well for this finish. This is a great finish. This is a proper striker's finish. So he receives the ball. He has two defenders pressuring him the whole time. But first of all, the pace he shows is fantastic. It's the fastest I've seen Havertz run. He looked really sharp today, really fast, and he used that pace. He managed to get himself all the way to the goalkeeper, Unai Simon, and then just a really composed finish into that bottom right corner. Really well taken, and this was impressive because he was under pressure from two different defenders, but in spite of that, he managed to get the finish off, and it's good to see from Havertz because we know one thing he's kind of struggled with in the past is obviously scoring when he's got a bunch of pressure on him, but this time around, despite having two defenders pressuring him the entire time, he makes the run all the way up about half the pitch and then finishes it brilliantly into that bottom right corner, so that was obviously a great moment. So both of the current strikers did score, obviously Victor Gyökeres and then Kai Havertz, who's very much expected to still sometimes rotate into that striker position. So nice to see him get a goal as well. All in all though, I still think it'll probably be Gyökeres starting at Old Trafford, but we'll find out, of course. But in my opinion, there's a very good chance that the starting 11 that started today can very well be the one that starts against Man United. Definitely at least 8 to 9 of the players you'd imagine will probably start. So that was it for the goals. 3 really well taken goals from Gyökeres, Saka and Havertz, and assists from Zubimendi, Martinelli and Saka. Obviously Saka, world class as always. I mean, I've run out of words to describe how amazing Bukayo Saka is. He's absolutely world class. And again today with a very, very good performance, making things happen, constantly taking on defenders. That ping from Declan Rice. Can we just talk about the fact this Declan Rice and Saka partnership needs to be spoken about? I mean, seriously, there were like 6 or 7 different times where Declan Rice pinged an absolute beauty to Saka, and then Saka with such elegance touches it and then goes and takes a shot. Or squares it across. Like, that ping from Declan Rice to Bukayo Saka is telepathic, not to mention Saka and White. But seriously, that link up between Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice is absolutely telepathic. So that was obviously great to see as well. But all in all, the game ends 3-0 in a really, really good performance. Great performance. Gyökeres with his first goal. Noni Madueke looking really sharp. Zubimendi looking world class. Saka looking world class. Mosquera looking good. Just a lot of really good performance today. Obviously, the clean sheet was kept, which is great. End of the day, you know, it's always nice to get the defense in check. And yeah, so all in all, I think there's a pretty good chance that the starting 11 that started today could very well be the one that starts against Manchester United next week at Old Trafford. But anyway, so we then moved on to the penalty shootout, and Arsenal did manage to get the win in the penalty shootout. Very nearly didn't though. Unfortunately, Ethan Ranieri did miss his penalty. Obviously an unfortunate moment, but he is still young. He'll learn from this. But thankfully, the Athletic Club player that went after him did miss the penalty. It was a really wide penalty. Thankfully, he missed it, which then allowed both Marino, Havertz, etc. to score their penalties. And eventually, of course, the responsibility came down to Martin Zubimendi, and Martin Zubimendi ended off a very good performance with a great penalty to win us the penalty shootout as well. But to be fair, I must say, Bilbao's penalties for the most part were ridiculous. They were such good penalties. Seriously, I don't know how these guys kept doing this, but literally almost every penalty that they actually scored, they either got literally top bins or like the top of the net. So seriously, we need to learn something from Bilbao's penalty coach, because seriously, that was ridiculous. Like, every penalty they were doing for the most part, they were getting in top bins or literally the top of the net. It was just incredible penalty taking from Athletic Club. Thankfully though, they did miss that decisive penalty. Bukayo Saka then stepped up, took the important penalty to keep the game alive, and of course from there we saw some more penalties, and it eventually ended with Martin Zubimendi winning us the penalty shootout. Not only that, but it was really good to see some players that have missed penalties in the past redeem themselves. First of all, Mikel Merino. Obviously Mikel Merino took a really poor penalty against Villarreal, but he made up for it with a very nicely taken penalty. Not only that, but Noni Madueke, big shout out to him for taking this penalty, because obviously Noni Madueke did miss the decisive penalty against Villarreal, but he stepped up today and he took a very nicely taken penalty as well. So it's good to see that from him. Great to see from Noni Madueke. And then of course, you know, it was just a really good performance. And then Kai Havertz also takes a penalty. Obviously Havertz did miss his penalty against Man United in the FA Cup. So again, it was good to see Kai Havertz with a nice penalty. So it's just good to see some of these players who are, you know, missing penalties before getting their confidence back. You know, Noni Madueke, Kai Havertz, Mikel Merino, etc. So that was great to see. And all in all, the game ended 3-0 and we won the penalty shootout. So a very, very enjoyable day at the Emirates Stadium for Arsenal fans. Really, really good performance. Yeah, very, very encouraging from Victor Gyökeres. World class from Saka and Zubimendi. Great performance from the likes of Martinelli, Havertz, etc. And all in all, just a very, very good game. The defense, of course, was top today. Gabriel and Saliba did well. Mosquera also did well when he came on. And of course, the fullbacks like Timber and Lewis Skelly, etc. also looked very lively down those flanks. Calafiori as well looked very, very threatening. So yeah, all in all, a very enjoyable game, a very, very good performance, and this puts us in good stead heading to Old Trafford next season. So that wraps up Arsenal's pre-season. Definitely a mixed bag, but all in all, it's 3 wins and 2 losses. So ultimately not ideal, but at the same time, you know, not a bad pre-season either. All in all, a bit mixed, but we're on the winning end of it, which is good. So anyway, that's going to go ahead and do it for pre-season. Thank you guys so much for watching all of these videos in pre-season. I've really enjoyed putting them together. I've really enjoyed giving my thoughts on the games. And yeah, pretty much bring on the 2025-26 season. This is it. Now we're officially getting into the proper season. So looking forward to Arsenal versus Man United next week. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day. Please let me know down below what you thought of the performance today. Who was your favorite? What did you think of Gyökeres' goal? What did you think of Zubimendi? What did you think of all of them? And I'll catch you guys in another podcast soon. Bye-bye.